La Palina number 2, 6.5 by 52 stick. Stay tuned. Welcome to Cigar Perspective. I am David, and today we are taking a look at the La Palina number 2, 6.5 by 52 stick. It does have a Costa Rican wrapper, Honduran binder, and Honduran and Nicaraguan filler. It does have a earthy, chocolatey, barnyardy type of aroma. It smells great. It's rich. I have actually never had this stick, so this is going to be my first time with you guys. It smells really great. So why don't we get it cut up, introduce the flame, and see what develops today. Go ahead and cut it here. Pretty open draw. Really chocolatey flavor on the dry draw. Wow. Very chocolatey. Go ahead and get it toasted up here. Introduce the flame. That starts off nice. Leather, wood. Very subtle hay. The wood is almost like a oak barrel type of thing. It tastes almost like it was aged in a barrel, which I don't believe it was, but it definitely has like that woody note. It's definitely starting off very nicely here. I am enjoying this. So it is Thursday, but it is the Memorial Day week here. I am wearing my red, white, and blue, and I did go ahead with the red, white, and blue cigar for the day, the La Palina number 2. So I want to touch base on what's going on in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I was trying to keep to myself about it. I watched the video. It did upset me very much, along with many other people. I understand this is not good what's going on in Minnesota. You know, the cop involved actually was a 19-year vet, the cop that had his knee on George Floyd, and he's had like a dozen complaints filed against him over the years for different things, excessive force, problem. So, but he had no disciplinary action. So, I understand a 19-year career is a long time, but to have multiple complaints against you and to never have been disciplined for it, in his mind, he probably thought it wasn't going to turn out the way that it did. Like, there's another day on the job for him, you know. So it's unfortunate that that's how that day went for him. But we also have to remember that for every time that this happens and there's bad police officers, there's men who don't care about others, they use excessive force and violence. But there are many, many good cops as well. There are cops that are trying to work hard, clean up their communities, do right by the people, and they do treat people fairly. So we cannot judge an entire group of officers based on certain cops' actions. One bad apple doesn't ruin the whole bunch. We have a lot of cops who do protect and serve and do uphold their job the correct way. So let's not be so quick to judge. You know, personally, I think that if there are cops that seem like they're overly aggressive or show signs of fear on duty, seem to have more issues than others, why don't you pull them off? Why don't you say this officer may need extra training, this officer may need a mental evaluation, this officer may need to be pulled and given a different assignment for now until we know that he is not going to use that, he or she is not going to use that excessive violence and is mentally okay to do their job without having excessive extra fear and having to use extra force and hold people down and treat people like that because they may be fearful in their minds. Like, we need to evaluate more and not just allow officers, because of their position, to just run free throughout the city. Like, that situation is so messed up. Like, as a civilian, there's nothing you can do there. If you do something, if you pull that cop off of him, you're probably going to get maced. And say you pull the cop off of him and he survives, he doesn't die, and now you're going to be on major trial and probably get in a lot of trouble for interfering with an arrest. But now that he's dead, everybody wishes they would have did something. We all are just like, why couldn't something have happened? Why didn't someone take a stand and make that stop? But unfortunately, when you're dealing with police, there's not a lot of options other than get involved and find yourself in a world of hurt at the end of it if it doesn't necessarily turn out the way that it would have. Like this now, with him dying. If you pull the cop off, he may not die, and you have a whole different situation that you're dealing with. I mean, to me, it's just very frustrating as a civilian to have to stand by and watch these things happen and be so powerless. I mean, I live in Wisconsin. I'm not far away from Minneapolis. I mean, I'm on the west side of Wisconsin. Minneapolis is really just a hop, skip, and a jump. I drive up to Minneapolis, not Minneapolis, but close to Minneapolis to get my cigars a lot of times at the humidors around that area. And I do go up to the cities to go to lounges sometimes, cigar lounges. So it's not far away from me. It does feel like my backyard that this is happening in, and that's maybe why I'm feeling stronger emotions towards it than I may have if it was out in LA or somewhere further away. Because when things happen close to home, it seems to hit us a lot harder. It's much more real when it happens close to home. And I mean, I know people making the trip from here up there. They're trying to go up there, but honestly, don't go up there and stir up more trouble. If you want to go up there and be part of the cleanup, you want to help the area, you want to bring it back to life, do that. But don't go up there and loot and protest violently and be crazy up there, causing even more drama and stress for them people. Like, they have enough going on up there. They don't need people coming from surrounding areas to cause more havoc and more chaos for them. So I'm going to take a couple seconds and talk about the cigar again. So we're getting into it here now, and it is it's rich, chocolatey. It actually tastes very good. The wood that was there initially has faded even just this quick. I mean, we're just getting into it here, and the wood is already not as strong as it was initially, but there is like a richer chocolate now, and there is some earth, and there is leather. There's definitely a little bit of like tobacco sweetness as well. It's actually complementing the chocolate, the richness of the chocolate with the tobacco-y sweetness and the earth and the leather and the little bit of wood. It's creating a very great flavor on the palate, going into the beginning of this cigar here. The burn's a little bit wonky right now. It's not even, but it's pretty close. May need a touch up eventually, but I'm thinking it's likely gonna catch up here and it won't be long. Very open draw. I am gonna go ahead and do a quick purge of this. I do like to purge my cigars. It's something that I do. This one did not seem to have too much. It lit up there for a few moments, but it did go out fairly quickly, so this one wasn't too full of ammonia. Some of them really go up real, lot of flame, but this one, tastes great, good cigar, so I guess I wouldn't expect it to have so much ammonia in it like some of them do. Today I'm drinking wheatgrass. I started drinking wheatgrass recently. It's really helps my stomach. But it's just really frustrating as a civilian sometimes to not be able to stand up against an officer doing wrong without having to worry about such extreme consequences coming for that civilian. You know, and now look at what's going on. The protests have turned to looting. Looting is not okay. Looting is not how we solve things. You think that we're going to respect you and we're going to want to you're going to get equality by looting and destroying a city? I don't think that's the answer. That's not the answer you're looking for. You can protest for justice, but if you're going to loot and destroy businesses and tear apart and burn down a city, you're not going to get what you're looking for. That's not justice for anybody. That's chaos and havoc. That's creating a disaster. There's no reason for it. It's uncalled for. Protest for justice and equality. Do not loot, rob, and steal to try to prove a point and try to get free stuff because you see an opportunity. It's not right. If you want to go up and help and clean up and do right and protest properly, do that. But do not go destroy more of the city. Do not go tear it down. It's not helping. Looting is not the answer. I'm sorry, it's not the answer. You know, and I think at the end of the day too, when some of these things happen, we also overlook that the people involved in this were committing some sort of crime. The police were called to the scene. He was trying to pay with fake bills. So that's wrong too. And it's not okay to use excessive force he had been given up, he had been detained. There should not have been any more force being put on his neck. He should not have been killed over it. Like, you're watching police kill somebody right in front of you. Not with weaponry. Police are trained to kill with and without weapons. Like, they are trained for many, many, many things. They don't need their gun to kill you, you know? But we need to band together. We cannot fray apart right now and start and do what's going on. We can't be looting and destroying a city when we need to come together and try to get justice for what happened. But we also have to remember that at the end of the day, there's more good cops than bad cops. And they are there to protect us, and most of the time they do. And it's unfortunate that these situations have to happen, and police are humans just like you and me. You know, they have the same brain, the same thoughts, the same everything. We're all humans, and they're gonna make mistakes, and they're gonna have their feelings and their mental problems and their issues just like we do. And that's why officers should be evaluated much more often, and they should be made sure that they're able to understand and handle situations and not just be out there doing whatever. And if there's complaints, they should be looked into. There should be some sort of punishment, not just get away with it, get away with it, get away with it until an officer pushes it too far. Normally, I'm not one that's gonna make a video and say stuff about all these things, but when I watched that video, it just triggered something in me. And the more that I see about this, and the more that I realize our perspectives in this country are getting so messed up, we are looking at things so backwards right now. People are not, we are living in a hypocritical society with people who don't know how to do what they say. They don't know how to act. Social media, telephone, cell phones, video games, everything under the sun has everybody so distracted from what's real. Put it down for a minute. Get with the people in your circle. Start seeing a different perspective on life, and quit using social media and all these platforms and stuff to cause problems and spread around gossip and BS. It's not necessary. Take a better perspective. I am almost a third away in here. This cigar is tasting amazing at this point. It is so rich and chocolatey and leathery and earthy. A little bit of wood, very open draw, good amount of smoke, very nice smoke actually, and it just tastes amazing. There's a tobacco sweetness in there. The Palina No. 2 definitely is starting off amazing through the first third. No disappointment here whatsoever. And also, I do want to say too, the price point on this cigar is around $8.99 to $11.99 depending on where you get it. I did see it online. You can get some 5-packs for a little bit cheaper, closer to $6, $7 a stick, but that's not as common. You're probably going to end up paying $8 to $10 a stick when you buy the Palina No. 2. So just, it's a good price point for this stick. It's worth it. It's a 6.5. This one's a 6.5 by 52. It's burning nice and slow. It looks like we're getting about 10 minutes in, 19 minutes in, and we're only a third of the way through it. So nice slow burn. And let's just continue and see how it develops. I was not expecting it to be quite so rich and have quite so much of a chocolate. The way that the chocolate richness and earth in this cigar is blending together on my palate tastes amazing. Like, this is an amazing cigar so far. I'm very pleased. I give this an 8 out of 10 at this point for sure. And just the open draw and the amount of smoke. It's almost like a mocha. Like, it is almost such a rich, chocolatey flavor that it's almost like tasting a mocha. Like, this is very interesting. Guys, I'm going to take a little break. I'll be back at the halfway point and continue discussing the cigar and our discussion. Alright guys, I am back, guys and gals. We are at the halfway point, just right at it here. So, the richness, the chocolate, the leather, the earth, still there. The richness is faded just slightly. There's a very subtle pepper that's picking up, a spice like a black pepper that's starting to pick up. Other than that, it's actually staying pretty close to the same with the leather, the earth, the chocolate. The mocha was very, very chocolatey and rich for a little, from like the third to the half it started to be in there, but now that we're at the halfway point, the mocha is turning back more into that. It's just like that chocolate flavor. It's not such a rich chocolate mocha-y thing. It's just like a earthy leather rich chocolate again at the halfway point with a little pepper kicking in. I feel like maybe once we get closer to the band, that richness may fade out, but it's been holding pretty strong up to this point. So we'll see how it develops and continue through. But I do want to talk more about just like our culture and the hypocrite, the perspectives that we're not taking good perspectives on things. So there's a lot of irresponsibility going on. People just are not like, people that aren't responsible are always gonna have negative outlooks on things. They're just miserable all the time. Their life is basically a sob story. Like, they're always a victim in everything they do. Doesn't matter if they show up late, whatever it is they're doing, there's always an excuse and they're always a victim. They don't live by what they talk about. They rarely do what they say. You know, and it's just, it's so frustrating to have to deal with people like that, and almost regularly, you know. Like, the other morning I was in line at a clinic having a cigar before they opened, and these two people showed up, and you know, they weren't early. They were gonna be farther back in line, and once they got in line, all you could hear was them complaining about people who get there early, and they have kids and they can't this and that, and the one lady had her kid, and they're just going on and on about how people get there early and have no compassion for the ones who have kids. And but you need to be responsible. Like, she's smoking a cigarette by her baby stroller. The baby's face is not covered up. There's all these people around. They're not, I mean, this is a clinic. These people are not the healthiest or the cleanest people that you're going to run into on a daily basis. And you're going to bring your children, first of all, to this place. That's really not a place for kids, but I understand sometimes you have to. And not protect it, smoke cigarettes by it, complain about everybody who gets there early because you're not responsible enough to get up early and get things done. And then you smoke cigarettes, buy your baby stroller, and then start complaining about other people smoking in that area because of your child being there. What? Like, this is one of the most hypocritical, foolish things that I've seen for a long time. Like, when I was waiting, like, how can you act like that? Like, how can you smoke by your child and then be mad at somebody else for smoking in the vicinity? Not even next to the stroller like you were, in the vicinity, like 3-4 feet away from that area, but it was still something to complain and something to be upset about. And continuously these people were just going one after another and finding something to complain about and cry about and throw fits and cause drama. And people are always like, I don't like drama, I don't want drama, I don't want nothing to do with drama. Yet these people have caused more drama than anybody that you've ever known in your life. It's just drama after one thing after another to complain about, be upset about, be irresponsible about. Use your kids as a bargaining chip, as sympathy. Trying to use your child to get to the front of the line, trying to cut in front so that you can get up there because you have a child and you couldn't get a babysitter, you couldn't this, you couldn't that for the moment. You know you're coming here. You know it's something that you have to do probably daily. And yet you're still not prepared after how long? And that's other people's fault that you can't be prepared, that your perspective is really messed up and that you're not doing the right things and your life is miserable. That's your fault. You have to take responsibility. You can't play the perpetual victim for your whole life. You have to make a move and become more responsible and do what's right for you. I've just been struggling lately with dealing with people who clearly just have a bad perspective on life. Everything's a problem, they're always a victim, nothing works out, they got something to complain about or an excuse to get out of everything. They're trying to get sympathy, bringing their kids on purpose just so that people feel bad and will let you this, or you can complain because it's raining or whatever. But your child's face isn't covered up. You're smoking cigarettes by your child. You're not treating that child with any respect or care. How are you going to expect the people around you to feel that way? It just doesn't make sense. You know, you can't be upset at other people being selfish if you're selfish. Like, I've had to learn some hard lessons lately about selfishness. Like, in my life, I've been selfish about some things too, and it's caused some problems, and I've had to wake up and open my eyes and realize that when you're selfish, you affect everybody around you. And when you're that way, you're not looking at how you're affecting the people around you. You don't understand that you could be hurting the people around you. You're just so selfish and caught up in your little world that you're not seeing that you may be causing pain to this person and hindering this person because of decisions you're making and being selfish for you only. It's not fair to others. You need to take a better perspective. You need to want to do what you say. You need to take responsibility. You're not a victim. You're irresponsible. You're choosing this life. You're choosing not to get up early. You're choosing to use your kid as a bartering chip. You're choosing to beg for sympathy, and when you don't get it, you're upset. You want to throw fits and take it out on everybody because you didn't get your way. It's just not how life's going to work in the long run. You're going to be miserable day in and day out until you stop putting the blame on others and accept that it's you. It's inside of you. You have to want to get up in the morning and be on time to things. You have to know that you have a child, maybe 2 children that need to be at a babysitter, or they need a little time to get ready. You have to be prepared for that, not show up and make everybody else's day miserable because your day is miserable. Nobody wants to hear that crap. Nobody. And all you're doing is just creating more drama for yourself and potentially putting yourself and even your kid in a very bad, potentially dangerous situation depending on who you get mad at and the type of people that you're throwing shade at. So you have to really think about that before you get upset and start blabbing off with your miserable life. You know, just accept your choices, accept your actions, and then move forward and take a better stance and a better perspective on life. I mean, nobody's perfect. Nobody. Not even a little bit. We all have issues. We all have problems. But it's how you get through your day and how you look at things. If you take responsibility for your actions, you feel better at the end of the day because you know that you have control. When you blame other people, you're taking the control away. You don't have control if it's somebody else's fault. You don't. You have to say, it's my fault. I take responsibility for me, and I can fix this. I can make it better because it's my control. I have the power over my life. I have the power to get up early. I have the power to raise my kids better than that. I have the power to protect my children better than that. Not use your child as a bartering chip. Not use your child to get sympathy and try to get people to do what you want over you not being responsible enough for things. The cigar is still open, nice draw. The flavors are holding still. The chocolate actually picked up again. The halfway point, it was slightly fading out, but as I'm getting closer to the band, the chocolate is really picking up once again. It's getting rich again. The earth is not quite so much there. The leather is not quite so much there. Very subtle wood, oaky wood. The pepper faded quickly. I'm not sure if it's going to come back. Right now, it's just a very rich, almost like a chocolate bar. Like, this cigar has been so interesting so far, and the richness that continuously comes through towards as it's building. Medium to full body, I would say. It starts off medium, getting more full right now. The draws are nice. It's so open, nice thick smoke. I just can't get over how rich this is. I highly, highly recommend trying this cigar. You will not be disappointed. If you like a rich, chocolatey, earthy, leathery, just good cigar overall, I'm almost at a loss for words. I was not expecting this to be this good. This is a great cigar. Honestly, guys and gals, I am enjoying this cigar so much. I'm going to take another little break and sit back, and once I get to the band, I will come back and we will finish this video. Welcome back, guys and gals. So here we are. We're getting down to the final third here. I'm going to take the band off right now. Just turned it back on. I'm going to go ahead and pull that La Palina off there. Set it over here till we're done. Take a little sip of wheatgrass. So, final third. Right now we got wood, subtle wood, earth, chocolate's still there, not as rich. The cigar is getting a little warmer into the final third. You know, some cigars they get warm on that final third. This cigar has been amazing so far. I don't want it to be one of those that gets warm in the final third. I don't think it's going to change my perspective on this cigar though, because it has been just amazing and rich and chocolatey and mocha-y and earthy and leathery. Just everything you want in a cigar, you have it with this La Palina No. 2, at least for me anyways, unless you're looking for like a lighter cigar or something like that. But if you want medium to full body with lots of rich flavors, lots of transition, you know, it's sort of the same, but it transitions in and out, like rich chocolate, subtle leather, subtle wood, mocha with more leather, less wood, pepper, a lot of the same flavors transitioning in and out throughout this whole cigar, which is very interesting. It's very good. Still lots of nice thick smoke. I've only ashed it twice during this video. Usually when I shut it off, I ash it and then come back. So that was the second time right before there. The ash holds on very nicely. This burn did. I actually only touched it up one time very, very slightly, just a tiny little spot. Since then we've had a nice good burn. But one thing I'm picking up on into this final third is there's starting to be a grassy note. So you got the chocolate. It's not quite as rich, but it's still there. You have leather and some subtle wood. Now you're getting a little bit of a grassy note in there, which is interesting. And it's kind of like almost like this. It feels a little bit oilier too, which I've noticed that happens sometimes, where they get like the richness and stuff and then they almost become like a little bit oily. Very subtle, not much, but I was just kind of noticing it a little bit. But yeah, going into the final third, great cigar. And there's a little bit more pepper again. The pepper's starting to pick up just slightly going into this. But, so really just to finish this, you know, what happened in Minneapolis, it's awful. It shouldn't have happened. It did. We have to find a way as a society to move forward and somehow become more equal. But as long as when stuff like this happens, the protests get violent and so much is going on and you're gonna go loot and steal and rob and chaos and havoc and everything else under the sun, I don't feel like we're gonna make progress. I just don't. I think we're gonna be going through the same thing over and over again until we learn how to protest properly and how we learn to do things the right way. Looting and stealing isn't protesting. That's just trying to get something for free. That's just being a goon. It ain't nothing. It's foolishness. Foolishness. It just goes right back to that irresponsible people, the perspectives of irresponsible people. You're constantly pointing the finger at somebody else. It's always somebody else's fault. You're always the victim. Always. Doesn't matter if you're white, black, brown, orange, pink, purple, yellow, blue. You're always a victim if you're pointing the finger and trying to do things on that level. You're just trying to be a victim, trying to get sympathy, trying to get anything you can for free, trying to get the handouts. You don't want to work for it. You don't want to do the right things to get it. You don't want to get justice the right way. You don't have patience to get justice the right way. You want to get it right now, and if you don't get it right now, then you're going to throw a fit, and you're going to act out, and you're going to create chaos and drama until you get what you want. Then what? Then what? Guys and girls, we need to band together. This rope cannot fray. It cannot come apart. It cannot. A long time ago, people like Colin Kaepernick and them, they tried to take a knee, and they've brought this to light more than ever. And it's happening, and it's happening. But there's a better way to do it than to destroy the community, the businesses, and the city that you live in. There's a better way. So don't go running up to Minneapolis to destroy stuff. If you're not living there, if you're from the surrounding areas, just stay out of there until it's cleanup time, and go help put the community back together. You want to do something, do right. Do it the right way. Put it back together. Build, don't destroy. Brick by brick. Not freaking tear the shit down brick by brick. We're putting it back together. We're a team. We have to grow and progress as a society. I'm sorry, guys and gals, I'm sorry if this got a little bit long. I just felt like I had a lot to say. This stuff's been on my mind. That video of that happening is very hard to watch. I mean, it triggers people emotionally. It triggered me. And I just want to see change for the better for our society and people as a whole. We've had a hard year. We go from, Kobe dying, and coronavirus, now this, and there's a lot of other things that happened this year as well. I'm not just going to sit and name everything, but we know that this has been a rough year, and we need to work together to come out and go into 2021 and move our country forward. But I highly recommend this cigar. I think if you're, once again, like in the other cigars that I've done recently, if you're a beginner or a seasoned smoker, you are definitely going to be able to appreciate this smoke. It has very, very open notes. Like, yes, there's some subtleties, but the subtleties are easy to pick up on. A lot of cigars have subtleties that it's going to take seasoned smokers, because there's the main notes and then there's these little subtle notes underneath. And with this cigar, it has these main notes, but the subtleties actually are there on the finish, where that doesn't always happen. And it's very easy to pick up on them as you're going along. The subtle wood and the little peppers, and when the richness goes from mocha back to chocolate, and the little bit of grassy I picked up on. It's actually easy to notice those shifts and that change in the notes, and it's great for a beginner, because they're going to be able to learn about transitions, and they're going to enjoy tasting the transitions. I've met a lot of new smokers who smoke cigars, and they don't taste the transition. They struggle to know when it's transitioning, and they'll get halfway, almost done with it, and say, I haven't really noticed any transitions. I haven't this or that. And I would like to find some cigars that I can recommend for beginners and people that they can experience the transitions and know more what to look for when they are smoking other cigars, and know kind of how the subtleties and the transitions work with cigars. I highly recommend purging your cigars as well and getting the ammonia out, because cigars taste better after you do that. I think that it changes the cigar quite a bit. Like, they not only do I feel the draw opens up just slightly after that, and I've had other people who agree with me on that, so I know I'm not just crazy and thinking that. I think it's just got something to do with when you blow it out and then draw back in, like somehow it opens it up just a little bit. And then you also get, it's just a much cleaner, like so much more flavor once that ammonia is no longer in your cigar. But guys, we are getting down to the end here. I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. I do appreciate you guys watching, guys and gals watching, listening to what I have to say about this topic. I give this cigar an 8 out of 10, and I highly, highly, highly recommend this to everybody. Try this cigar if you like medium to full body, rich cigars that have lots of chocolate, leather, earths, wood, and some other subtleties. You're gonna love this cigar. Now, this is the Toro. Yeah, I have not had it in anything but this. I do imagine if there's Robusto in different sizes, they're gonna be just a little bit different, but it's gonna be pretty close to the same, probably with the richness and the just overall greatness of this cigar. So let's band together. Stop the looting, stop the drama, stop blaming others for your problems, take responsibility for you, control your life, you'll feel better, you'll be happier. Be sure to like and subscribe. We are going to be doing giveaways in some of these videos moving forward. Humidors, torches, cutters, travel humidors, all kinds of things. We're going to have a lot of fun moving forward. Today just had to get serious about some things for a little bit, but I appreciate each and every one of you who watches my reviews and listens to my discussions. Thank you, guys and gals. Have a great day.